got in a little over my head with this 110. I think I have all the parts to put it back together now. Had a little transmission trouble. Turns out the shift drum was broken. I think I found all the pieces. Don't see any damage other than the shift drum. I went to buy this 110 for parts. The price was too good to pass up. But when I got it home, I decided I better get this one running. So I think I have all my parts. New plastics. This thing is going to look like $1,000,000. We're just doing a couple new bearings in the transmission, and then the real smoking gun was the shift drum. So it's time to get working. Let's see if we can put this thing together today. It's starting to boil, so we're getting close. Information online about how much you want to heat it up to is pretty varied, but I think I like 200 to 250 degrees. On this engine, there was a little bit of cleaner left on there. See it boiling, get an idea of what temperature you're at. Yeah, 200 degrees. We're almost ready. With each degree of heat, aluminum expands more than steel does. And so as you heat the cases up, it expands further than the steel of the bearing and lets the bearing just drop in and out. You'll see on this first one, I didn't heat it up quite enough, and I had to tap it in with the back of a screwdriver. Get the bearing out of the freezer. There it goes. On the other side of the case, I heat it up a little more, and it just drops right in the way you want it to. Oh, ooh, watch out. I love it when they just slide right in like that first one. Now we'll let this thing cool down, and we'll get to putting the transmission in. The problem with this bike was the shift drum right here had cracked. The shift drum, as it rotates, moves these forks, which in turn move the gears. KLX110s, the early ones were 3-speed when they shipped from the factory, but they have all the internals in the transmission for 4 gears. You just have to change the shift drum. Not quite sure why they did that. Maybe they wanted to be able to release a 4-speed version a few years later. This brand new shift drum is supposed to give me 4 gears. It's a good idea to get online and look at a parts diagram of these transmissions. Make sure that you have the washers in the right places. They don't always go in a super logical position. The only difference on these shift drums that I can find is the new one. This channel goes over and up a little further. So I'm assuming that's where we get our 4th gear. It's definitely good to remember to bench test your transmissions. Here's neutral. Down a little bit. Looks like first. A little further. Feels like second. There's third. Now here's the hot spot. Ooh, look at that 4th gear. Maybe with that 4th gear, I'll go down to a 13 tooth and the gearing will be perfect. I knew I had some. I didn't realize it was this old, though. Hope there's enough usable stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah, it is, bud. Pretty cool, huh?
Now we need to put this shift star on and do the most important test of all, make sure it shifts. Man, that would be a lot of labor to take apart a good running bike and just to add a 4th gear, but the part's pretty cheap. I think it's $100. I got this used on eBay. It looks like it had never been installed, so somebody probably bought it to do the project and never got around to it. Only had to pay $40 for it. How is it? Let me give it a shot. Man, this thing looks good. Well, it's been a couple weeks now. The 110's been running great. Probably have 5 hours on it or so. Shifting good. The fourth gear is a little bit too tall. I don't think my son's used it at all. I'm definitely going to go down to a 13-tooth front sprocket, kind of lower the gearing. It was a good project. I'm glad I decided to fix it instead of parting it out. The 110 size is such a fun little play bike. Since I finally wrapped this video up, I got some parts I need to put on the $400 Harley. I'm having some paperwork issues with that. Now it's just sitting out here in the weeds. I've been neglecting it bad. Anyway, see you guys soon. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm pretty close to 500, and that'll push me over the edge. Talk to you soon.